This pregame show brought to you by the Bank of Gloucester County. Oh, this is a series, Fred Swartz, that goes all the way back to the 20s, Glassboro and Paulsboro, a game that was played on Thanksgiving Day for many, many years. Some of the best football games in memory in Gloucester County. Now it's become a game in which the teams see each other only in the Group 1 playoffs, but there have been some memorable games, Fred, and we got another great one coming up today.
Absolutely. I think Bob Cleary would tell you he would be happy to be here today, but when I look back at Paulsboro and Glassboro, they could be 4-4 or 8-0, and it didn't matter. Whatever was going to take place today was going to determine the season. I think that's going to be the same case today.
The old cliche, throw the records out the window, but in this case, in this rivalry, that was exactly the case.
Absolutely. I think one year we had back in the 70s where Paulsboro was only 4-4 and Glassboro was 8-0. That day, Paulsboro was the better team.
Fred, these are great teams. Two good offenses, two good defenses, very evenly matched game, but some tremendous individual players as well. And Glassboro has one of the better players in the area, two-way player, Gary Brackett.
Yes, number 32, Gary Brackett, who we'll see today. Outstanding athlete, leader of the defense. He's rushed for over 790 yards and 19 touchdowns this year, despite being the most keyed-on player by Glassboro. And he always seems to be the best when the pressure's on. Last week against Pensgrove, 197 yards rushing. They'll need a big effort from Gary today.
Defensively, you seem to see him in on every tackle, Fred.
Yeah, I call him the captain or the quarterback of the defense. He's the leader both emotionally and physically. He'll be the key for them.
And, of course, this Paulsboro High School football team, they have so many tremendous players down over the years, and they have another great one coming up in this game today. He's had a tremendous career. He's had a tremendous season. That would be Richard Gaines, and he's become the go-to guy on this Paulsboro High School football team.
The numbers on him are really fantastic. 1,200 rushing yards this year. He's the leading scorer in South Jersey. It's really amazing to me, Bob. The faces and the names change at Paulsboro, but the marquee players are already there. And marquee player is Richard Gaines.
This game last year, Fred, one of the most memorable games I've ever seen in Gloucester County. That was the 9-6 Paulsboro win, the Lewis field goal. Reggie Lewis with 7 seconds to go, winning at 9-6 for Paulsboro High School to keep their streak alive and to go on to win another group championship. And, of course, that can be a motivational factor for Glassboro today.
Yeah, I've never seen so much emotion be shown at the end of a game. The elation that Paulsboro had after winning the game and the depression that Glassboro had at the game. I'm sure Bob Cleary had to mention to his two returning starters, which would be Brackett and Robert Pierce, the feeling they had after that game, and I'm sure that emotion is going to play through for today.
And this amazing streak of 59 consecutive Paulsboro wins, that was really the closest anybody's come to beating Paulsboro.
And that's just incredible when you think of 59 straight wins over quality opponents. It's kind of almost like a mystique now. You're not only playing Paulsboro, you're also playing the streak.
And you've been a coach, Fred. What does a streak mean to kids like this? I mean, do they become feeling invincible?
I think that's part of it, but there's a tremendous desire to keep the streak going. You don't want to play on the team that ended that streak, and I think that's been a tremendous motivation. Conversely, the teams coming in, they'd like to be the team that ends that streak. And if you don't have the intestinal fortitude, then sometimes that streak can be the one that beats you before you get there.
What does Glassboro have to do to end that streak today, Fred?
They're going to have to play an error-free football game. They're going to have to be able to control what I think is the most important part today, the offense and defensive lines of Paulsboro. They've been so outstanding. If they can make no mistakes and hope that Paulsboro plays mortal, they have a chance to win the football game.
Glassboro's defense a year ago did an extraordinary job in this game. They really shut down the Paulsboro offense. They're going to have to do the same thing today. They like to put 9 in the box. Maybe we'll see Paulsboro throw the football.
Yeah, that's probably the idea, because we've seen them in games before where they're going to put at least 8 or 9 people there. But I really think the key for Glassboro is getting off to a good start and not letting Paulsboro pull away. If they can hang in for a half to 3 periods, that momentum and that enthusiasm could carry them through the victory.
Okay, we've got a great one coming up in the first round of the NJSIAA playoffs in Group 1. This pregame show has been brought to you by the Bank of Gloucester County.
Today's game is brought to you by Valley & Bow. People in the know, go to Valley & Bow. By the Bank of Gloucester County. Hometown banking, nearby, near you. By Proby Chiropractic. Feel good naturally. By Underwood Memorial Hospital, an affiliate of Jefferson Health System. Underwood Memorial, a higher standard in community health care. And by Ace Ford, 10 acres of over 300 new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and vans.
From Bennett Field in Paulsboro, it's the NJSIAA Group 1 semifinal playoffs from Paulsboro High School. And Reggie Lewis getting ready to kick off for the Red Raiders. Bob Shryock along with Fred Swartz at Paulsboro. Long-time rivalry, a great kick by Lewis and taken by Brooks at the 10-yard line. Brooks straight up the middle and has a chance to break it and gets it all the way up to the 40-yard line. A terrific return for Allie Brooks for Glassboro High School. Fred Swartz getting them great field position to start the football game.
And coaches will always tell you that special teams can sometimes be a barometer for the game, and that's a big plus for Glassboro. Great job of running and blocking.
30-yard return for Allie Brooks. Undefeated Paulsboro, the defending champions in Group 1, going for win number 60 in a row. That's number 2 in the country. Glassboro 7-1. They only lost to Gloucester High. Tilly comes off the bracket and the smothering Red Raider defense led by Lewis, along with John Calness, stops Brackett for a loss on the play of about a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 11.
And our first little new wrinkle of the day, Glassboro came out in an I formation instead of their wing T and used a guard at fullback to try to give some blocking for Gary Brackett. That guard is number 62, Jerry Stranix.
2nd and 11, just underway at Paulsboro High School. Group 1 playoffs. Firing it in, it's completed for a first down to O.C. Yitem across midfield to the 47. Derek Satelli quietly having a very, very excellent year, Fred.
Strong arm. He's learning to read defenses each week as we go along. Thrown for over 670 yards. He could be a difference.
One of the most impressive stats, 11 touchdown passes, only 2 interceptions. He's an accurate passer. 14-yard pickup for a first down at the Paulsboro 47-yard line. Yitem in motion. Brooks with the handoff. Brooks gets maybe a yard over the right side to about the 45-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 9 for the Bulldogs.
Bob, we said in the pregame show how important the trenches are going to be, and I think we're seeing that already. Glassboro's going to see how well they can move the ball, and Paulsboro's going to say, not today.
Spot at the 45-yard line, 2nd and 9 for the Bulldogs. Backs now split behind Satelli. And pick Brooks in motion. Satelli to throw, getting good protection. Breaks down and he is going to be sacked. Reggie Lewis with the sack for Paulsboro. Lewis, the hero of this meeting a year ago with his field goal with 7 seconds to go. That memorable 9-6 Paulsboro victory.
And on that one, Bob, great coverage by the defensive secondary in Paulsboro. Affectionately called as a coverage sack. Satelli had nobody to throw to.
3rd down and 14, another probable passing down for Satelli. Brackett comes out for this play.
Teddy, walk off, son!
Satelli fires it and almost completed. It was a good pass. Penalty markers down. Jackson was the intended receiver.
Get the tight end!
Bob, really dangerous throw because there was only 1 receiver there and 4 Paulsboro defenders.
Well, he gunned that ball, and this is going to go apparently against Paulsboro.
Hey, Warren! Wake up!
Larry Blum, the referee today. His crew, Pete Strop, Keith Creedy, Ed Johnson, Tim Bray, up here in the press box with us. The clock operator, Carmel Marina.
ineligible receiver downfield. The tight end on the right side was covered in the offense.
So it goes against Glassboro, and that'll force a Bulldog punt.
Bob, with Glassboro showing some new wrinkles and eyes and motions, sometimes that wide receiver will step up on the line and he'll effectively cover the tight end, meaning they're both on the line of scrimmage and he's ineligible to go downfield. And that's the call we had here.
The ineligible receiver downfield in the offense.
Penalty declined, and Paulsboro will
interference
at its
penalty
first possession.
against defense against
Richard Gaines
ineligible receiver.
dropping back to receive the punt for the Red Raiders. 9:26 to play, scoreless first period. Glassboro has 1 first down on its first possession, and now they'll punt the football away. Right at midfield. High snap, but punter gets it away. Good job by Pierce. Gaines loses the handle, still on his feet, trying to break away, but can't, and that'll pin Paulsboro back at its own 10-yard line. Good coverage downfield by the Bulldog special team.
And our first look, Bob, you and I walked the field before the game got started, and the field's really in pretty good shape, but there are a couple spots, especially down by the goal line, where it's a little soggy. I think Mr. Gaines slipped on a little bit of that sloppy field.
It's been nice. So we had some sun earlier, but it rained very heavily all night, and actually this field did drain pretty well. Jared Claiborne will run the offense. They alternate quarterbacks here at Paulsboro High School. Gaines with the carry. Gaines with a bit of a hole, spinning his way up across the 15-yard line. 6-yard pickup by Gaines. It'll be 2nd down and 4 for the Red Raiders.
And a real nice, safe opening play straight ahead. My first chance to see Gaines this year, and I can see already his quickness and his ability to cut.
Gaines, one of those players, Fred, that just keeps getting better every game he plays. He's had a tremendous senior season. One of the leaders on this team. Very intelligent young man. Never played in a losing Paulsboro High School football game. Of course, the rest of them haven't either.
It's incredible.
Gaines spinning his way, but nothing doing in the middle of that tough Bulldog line that's had a great season. These are 2 outstanding defenses we'll be watching today.
And what we said also before, Bob, Glassboro had 8 men up on within a yard or 2 of the line of scrimmage, trying to make it very, very difficult to run the center.
Sean Cleary, the coach's son. Bob Cleary, the outstanding Glassboro High School head coach, in on that tackle, but he had plenty of help. Glenn Howard coaching the Red Raiders of Paulsboro High School with a chance to get to 100 career victories faster than anybody in South Jersey history. 3rd down and 6 call for Claiborne. And it's batted. The ball is batted, and a good first defensive series for Glassboro High School, and the Red Raiders will have to punt.
We talked before about things that Glassboro needed to do to be successful in this game, and getting a defensive stop, hanging around in there, is the most important thing they do.
And Glassboro should wind up with great field position after this punt. Claiborne punting from about his own 2-yard line. Four safeties back for the Bulldogs. Line drive punt. Taken at the 45-yard line by Julian Worley. Gets it back to about the 41. So the Bulldogs have had the upper hand here in the first quarter. They got inside Paulsboro territory first time they had the football, and they will start this possession at the Red Raider 42.
43-yard line.
Bob, in a game of this magnitude, everybody shoots to get in the playoffs these years. Little opening jitters can sometimes be a part. I think they'll be settling down, ready to play good football.
Brackett and Brooks, the backs behind Satelli. Satelli to throw. Good protection. Fires it completed. Second reception of the game for Yitem. And a nice Bulldog gain down to the 31-yard line. And a first down. So Glassboro with its second first down.
Bob, you said it exactly right. Great time. He had receivers running deep and waited for a secondary receiver to clear across the center. Great time to throw the football.
Good job of interior blocking by the Bulldogs. So it's 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. Both Glassboro first downs on passes. Straight ahead. Not a whole lot doing against that tough interior of the Red Raider defense.
Before the game, Bob Cleary was mentioning to me how proud he is of this team. They worked very, very hard to improve each week. And last week when they went against Pensgrove, a team that was also 6-1 for a playoff spot, they played their best football game of the year.
Beat them 44-12. 1-yard pickup by Worley and 2nd down and 9, ball at the 30. Brooks trying to swing wide right. Penalty markers down. Brooks battling for yardage.
Brooks on the carry.
But this may be a Bulldog penalty. Holding call. That'll set the Bulldogs back.
Team speed is so important in football today, and we're seeing that both teams have it, but the ability to get to the football is one of the keys of Paulsboro. He just reacts so well to where the ball goes.
We'll mark this one back to the 42-yard line.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards, spot foul, repeat 2nd down.
So it'll be 2nd down and 19 for the Bulldogs. 42. Satelli to throw. Hit as he passes, and it'll be incomplete. He was pummeled as he got the ball away. Lewis in there, along with Ted Holloway.
And that's our waggle pass that we get to see a lot, where there's a fake to our running backs, and it's a great pass if it fools the linebackers. When the linebackers are blitzing, you don't have much time to throw.
3rd down and 18 for the Bulldogs. Another possible passing down for Satelli. 6:29 to play in the first. No score. Satelli gets it off. Little swing pass, but nothing doing here. Read very well by the Red Raiders as Brooks makes the catch. Countless makes the tackle. And that'll bring up a 4th down and force another Glassboro punt.
And to show you the ability, John Countess was at nose guard, made the rush on the quarterback, then reacted to the screen and made the play. Tremendous hustle by an outstanding athlete.
Pierce, the punter for the Bulldogs, gains deep at about his own 15-yard line for the Red Raiders. High snap. Pierce gets it. And it's blocked. It's blocked. In for the clean block was Warren Sharper of Paulsboro. And Fred, the high snap from center caused that.
Yeah, the one that gives coaches nightmares because it's so much of a part of the game. But the high snap was great athletic ability by Pierce to even get the ball, but it just took too much time.
We'll take a break from Paulsboro High School. First round of the NJSIAA Group 1 playoffs. No score. We'll be back. Fred Swartz and Bob Shryock at Paulsboro High School. Longtime rivals Glassboro and Paulsboro played their first game in 1905, before even you were born, Fred.
Absolutely, and I think before most of us that are listening today. That game back in 1905, 5-0.
5-0.
And then they waited and came back in 1921, it says here, and Glassboro won 99-0.
And then revenge 3 years after that. Paulsboro comes back and wins 14-7. But there have been some great games in this series. 5-yard penalty against the Raiders sets them back to their own 36-yard line. 1st down and 15. Gaines with the handoff, breaks one tackle, gets to the outside, cuts it back inside, slips on that wet turf and goes down at about the 47, but a nice pickup by Richard Gaines.
And Bob, the wheels are turning for the coaches. You can see Glenn Howard in that, tried the power game in the first series, saw he wasn't successful with that, came right back with the outside zone and allows Mr. Gaines to show off his athletic ability.
Gaines picked up 11 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 4 for the Red Raiders. They have not yet been in Glassboro territory. Bennett with his first carry. Penalty marker is down. Pierce with the tackle. What a tremendous season Pierce has had. And then help from Ezekiel Jenkins.
Pierce is another one with a great nose for the football. He just has an uncanny knack of knowing where it's going to go, and then when it goes in that direction, he goes in a hurry and knows what to do with the ball. He and Brackett are the only two returning starters for Glassboro this year that played in any bit of that game, that legendary 9-6 game.
Remarkable rebuilding job by the Bulldogs this year. They've had a great season, and not a lot of people expected it.
Yeah, I asked Bob Cleary before the game, I said, what were your real goals for the beginning of the year? And he said 500. He said that was the mountain. Anything over that was bonus. He's 7-1 and in the first round of the playoffs.
So Glassboro declines the penalty and forces a 3rd down and 3. So a big call coming up for the Red Raiders. Bennett and Gaines, the backs behind Claiborne in the power I formation. The option pitch to Gaines. Gaines has the yardage and hammered out of bounds on a big tackle by Brackett, but not before Gaines was able to pick up the 1st down.
And a very interesting call. The slot was set to the left side. All the power of the offense was set to the left side, and they ran the option back to the short side of the field. Good read by Claiborne, good run by Gaines.
7-yard pickup to the 45-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Red Raiders. Well, that was a big hit by Brackett there at the end of that play.
Yeah, it'll send a little message.
Straight ahead to Bennett, but absolutely nothing doing. Great job by that real tough Glassboro line. Justin Brown was in on the tackle.
Paulsboro's also throwing a lot of formations at Glassboro right now to see which is going to go best. We saw Tom Brown here from Washington Township earlier in the game, and he was a guy that always liked to experiment with different offenses to see what couldn't be covered, and that's what he would run.
No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10, ball right on the 45-yard line. Now they split the backs behind Claiborne. Quick drop, fires it completed. Green with the reception, gets about 5 on the play. The Bulldog defense closed quickly after the completed pass.
Again, as the wheels are turning, the last time that Paulsboro showed that slot formation, Glassboro had no one out on the slot. The message got downstairs real quickly. Out came a little quick hitch pass to the slot, and the game's made.
3rd and 5 for the Red Raiders. Ball just outside the 40-yard line. On the option again, and Gaines trying to get to the outside, but he is thrown down on a big play defensively by Julian Worley. Looked like he had some room there, Fred, but Worley clears very quickly.
And that's the nice thing about running the option. It usually puts into one-on-one coverage. If Worley doesn't make the play, it's probably a touchdown. He made an outstanding effort.
Pickup of about 2, so an interesting 4th down call coming up. 4th and a long 2 for the Red Raiders. Holloway bringing the play in. So the first real critical call in this game. 4th and a long 2, actually almost 3. Fires it over the middle and incompleted. A big defensive play by Glassboro's Yitem. The intended receiver was Fred Coles. The ball was there, Fred, but a nice job by the defender, Yitem.
Yes, and very, very interesting call. That would have probably been the last thing I would have thought of, which would have been a quick little tight end screen. Here we can see Claiborne just straight back, little 5-step drop. Looks like it's going to be a screen. And a great, good coverage by Glassboro all the way around.
So Glassboro takes over on its own 37-yard line, 1st down and 10. Sharper to throw. Fires it. Intercepted by Sharper. Sharper with the first turnover of the football game and returned to the 49-yard line. And Satilli may have been injured on the play, getting up slowly.
But very similar, Bob, to the play we saw where the penalty earlier in the game. And Satilli just threw into triple coverage, tried to gun it with his strong arm. not going to get through.
Only the third interception thrown by Satelli this season, but a big one for the Red Raiders. They take over inside Glassboro territory at the 48-yard line. Vernon Sharper with the interception. And now Sharper with his first duty at quarterback today. Sharper and Claiborne alternate the quarterbacking chores. Sharper keeps the football, gets it to the 45, gain of about 2. It'll be second down and 8.
With Sharper, we're seeing more of the veer option, which has been a Paulsboro tradition for years and years and years. Tremendous pressures put on the outside people.
Well, the sun shining brightly here at Bennett Field in Paulsboro for the first time. Second down and 8. 1:20 to play, first quarter. And no score. The option again, and Sharper, pretty good job, but not much there, but he does manage to get it down to about the 40-yard line.
33, Williams.
Yards tough to come by against this real tough Glassboro defense.
But Sharper really showed me a lot on that run. He has something I always like coaching in quarterbacks, quick feet. He can cut on a dime and can turn a 0 play into a positive play very quickly.
Sharper got 4 yards to the 41, and that will create a third down and 4. Only 40 seconds to play in the first quarter. A critical third down call for the Red Raiders. Didn't get the play off, apparently. So Paulsboro hurting itself uncharacteristically with penalties here in the first quarter.
Dead ball, delay of game, offense, 5 yards, still third down.
So now it's a 3rd and 9 instead of a 3rd and 4.
And that's every coach's nightmare, not getting the play in the amount of time. And it's a play sometimes that officials don't always call.
Green and Gerard, the wide receivers, to the near side for the Red Raiders. Sharper, the left-handed passer, back to throw and fires it completed. Nice job by Brackett closing on that tackle of Green. It looked like Green had some room, but Brackett just shut it down.
A nice little play. We used to call it the rocket screen that Notre Dame used to run years ago with Rocket Ishmael, where the wide receiver comes down underneath everyone and the linemen are ready to release afterwards. But Brackett just took that right away.
That'll do it for the first quarter from Paulsboro High School. On the Valley and Bow scoreboard, it's no score, Glassboro and Paulsboro. We'll be right back. These schools first played in 1905. 92 years later, they're still playing. Fred Schwartz and Bob Shryock at Bennett Field in Paulsboro for the Red Raider Bulldog first-round playoff game. And Paulsboro with his first punt. Picked up on the run, but then fumbled, and down quickly is Julian Worley. And the Bulldogs will be pinned deep for this possession. They're scoring the first period, and the Glassboro defense has to be feeling pretty good about the way it played in the first quarter, Fred.
Yeah, Bob, I'll tell you, Paulsboro is the highest scoring team in South Jersey. They've scored 302 points so far this year. So to shut them down for first quarter, got to be a major plus for Glassboro.
Well, at the 14-yard line, first down and 10 Bulldogs. They moved the ball fairly well in the first quarter. A couple of first downs, both on pass plays. And Satelli also threw an interception. Ball played a Brackett, and he's going nowhere. Big defensive play by Vaughn Claiborne, one of the captains of the Red Raider team.
Vaughn, who shows, besides being 6 foot, 235 pounds, also has some great quickness. Put a shoulder right in there to give you a little memory when you want to run the ball again.
Lost about a yard, second down and 11 for Glassboro. Glassboro with only one loss this season. Pretty decisive. About 25-0 loss to Gloucester City in the Tri-County Conference. Nothing doing here.
Brackett on the carry.
Brackett with the carry.
Number 95,
Reggie Lewis, who has had a big game defensively so far for the Red Raiders in on that tackle. Loss of a couple on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 13 at a very dangerous spot on the football field. So Tilly has to be very careful here.
I'm sure Glassboro's also worried because their punting game hasn't been top quality so far with the snaps, and they're right down by the goal line.
So the Bulldogs need a big play here to sustain possession. 3rd and 13. They'll keep it good fake by Santelli. He is going to be sacked. Claiborne with another big defensive play, and that ball is way back. Hard to see because of the sunlight, but about the 3-yard line. And so this is going to be a very difficult punting situation, Fred, for Glassboro High School.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing's going to be guaranteed. Paulsboro's going to get great field position. The danger that I look for is something bad in the punt that could result in either 2 points for Paulsboro or even 6.
Robert Pierce is the Glassboro punter, and on both punts so far, he has had balls snapped well over his head that he had to jump for, and the second one caused a block punt, so he has to get this one away in a hurry. Better snap this time. Pierce manages to get off. Pretty good punt. Gaines takes it at about the 28-yard line. Gaines picking his way. Gaines still on his feet. Good return by Gaines, finally covered by the punter, Pierce, but Paulsboro with excellent field position.
15-yard line.
Looks like there's only going to be a gain of about 13 yards as a result of that punt. It's going to put Paulsboro in a great situation. Gaines is really a handful in the open field.
Ball at the 16-yard line. So in the battle of field position, Paulsboro winning, but no score. Ball at the 16, great opportunity for the Raiders to jump on top. Sharper taking a lot of time. They're going to get the play off. This managed to get it off. Sharper fires it over the middle. Completed for the touchdown. Great pass by Sharper. And a terrific catch by Marcus Scott. And at the 9:34 mark of the second period, Paulsboro draws. First blood leads Glassboro 6-0. That was a terrific pass by Sharper and a great catch by Scott.
A quick little post pattern to the slot back. Read very well by Sharper, and he put the ball right on the money.
Now Sharper, who threw the touchdown pass, will now attempt the extra point. Sharper, no good. Sharper, a left-handed passer and a right-footed kicker.
It's an incredible combination. We're going to get a chance to see the play again. We'll watch Sharper in a play we didn't know whether it was going to get off in time or not. Sets up, makes his 5-step drop, looks perfectly for the slot back, lays the ball right into the hands.
Absolutely perfect pass, and not an easy catch, but a good one by Scott. 6-0 Paulsboro.
NA 2925. Your lights are on. Mobile parking lot. NA 2925.
So the Glassboro punting game has hurt them here in the first half. Paulsboro leading 6-0.
Bob, we've mentioned how important special teams are. They can really make a difference in at least one football game a season for you, and I think that's the exact situation that happened there.
So Lewis will be kicking off for the Red Raiders to either Ollie Brooks or Julian Worley. For 59 consecutive wins, probably the most remarkable accomplishment in scholastic sports that I've witnessed in 33 years, certainly from a team perspective here in Gloucester County, Fred.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I can remember when the record was 31, and everybody thought that was an impossible feat. And I was coaching at times where we won 21 in a row. We thought that was outstanding. This is almost 3 times as long.
Terrific kick by Lewis right out of the end zone. Maybe the Philadelphia Eagles should pick up Reggie Lewis. Reggie, of course, the hero of last year's meeting between these teams in the playoffs with that field goal at the 7-second mark to give Paulsboro a 9-6 victory.
Bob, very important emotionally now that Glassboro at least moves the football. They have to get some confidence back in their abilities to do the offense.
First and 10, ball at the 20-yard line. Brackett with the carry. Brackett going for a little gain, yard or two. Bennett in on the tackle, that gifted sophomore for the Red Raiders. Also Warren Sharper. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8.
Two interesting ideas. Glassboro has to go with their best back in what they consider the best play to move the football. And Paulsboro figures if they can stop Brackett, they can stop anybody.
Brackett comes out for rest. New tailback in the game for the Bulldogs. And Brooks gets the pitch. Brooks trying to get to the outside. He'll get little yardage. Paulsboro with a very deceiving record defensively this year, Fred. They've given up quite a few touchdowns. Most of those to opponents they've handled easily in the late stages of the game. Glenn Howard, a guy who does not believe in running up big scores, and you can tell by the scores that that's his philosophy. So the defense has really had a lot better year than statistically it shows.
And that's what makes him one of the most highly respected coaches in South Jersey.
To throw, fires it, completed. Herring with the catch. And we'll see where the spot is. A spot at about the 31-yard line. And that'll be a first down for Glassboro.
And that's a big help too, Bob. They needed just the fact that they can move the ball and get first downs. So far, Glassboro's best offense has been that short pass until we're able to get the ball out quickly.
Well, they've had 3 first downs, all of them on pass plays. 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. Brooks looked like kind of a messed up play, and Brooks manages to get about a yard, and that's it.
Tackle number 95,
Reggie Lewis, who's made a bunch of tackles here in the first half, with the first hit again. 1 yard gain, 2nd down and 9, ball at the 32-yard line.
No doubt a broken play, but sometimes broken plays can go for big yardage. A few years ago, Paulsboro had a guy named Kevin Harvey who turned a few of those broken plays into touchdowns.
Many of these touchdowns. Brackett with the pitch, trying to swing to the outside. Brackett with a pretty good run. Brackett's advanced to the 39-yard line. He's short of a first down by about a yard and a half. So it'll be 3rd down, we'll say 2 yards for first down. The ball at the 39. Brackett's best run of the game.
Definitely, Bob. He got a little momentum behind him. He got his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, and he was able to carry a defender down the field.
So another big 3rd down call coming up for the Bulldogs. Nope, will not get the first down. Brackett with the carry, but that Red Raider defense up to the task again. No gain on the play. That'll be 4th down for the Bulldogs. Countless in on the play.
For our young running backs that are watching this on the Comcast, if you have your shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage, you're going to gain positive yards. The defense then turn the shoulders at Brackett, send them like perpendicular to the line of scrimmage, you're going to lose yards. That's what happened.
Pierce punting to Gaines. Good snap. Oh, and Pierce slipped as he was kicking the football, still manages to get it off. Gaines picks it up and trying to get some room, but not a real good decision by Gaines in that play, as he has negative yardage on the punt return trying to backtrack. We'll take time out from Paulsboro High School on the Valley and Bow scoreboard. 6-0 Red Raiders. Fred Swartz and Bob Shryock at Paulsboro High School. 6-0 Paulsboro, but now the Red Raiders with a penalty on that return. That was not a good punt, and yet it worked out very well for Glassboro High School.
Yeah, it's amazing because he fell down as he was punting the ball, and we end up getting a bad return and a penalty.
1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. Gaines with the carry. Gaines gets about 6 yards across the 20 to about the 21.
You can see Pearson here as he plants. Wow, down he goes. And what would have probably been a bad punt ends up to be tremendous field yardage.
So 2 mistakes by Paulsboro then on the punt return. Gaines trying to retreat to get some running room, lost significant yardage, and a 15-yard clipping penalty tacked on. So it's 2nd down and 4, the ball at the 21. Claiborne back in now, running the show. Bennett with the carry, will not get the first down. Interesting alternating of quarterbacks by Howard this year. Claiborne is the senior, Sharper is the junior. They've got about equal playing time. I mean, you never seem to know which one's going to be in there. Sharper just threw the touchdown pass, now Claiborne's back in.
Sometimes that can work, and sometimes that can be a tremendous controversy. When you're winning, it's never a controversy.
Third down and 1, and Glassboro wants to take a timeout. 4:56 to play. First half, a rapidly played first half, and Paulsboro leading Glassboro 6-0. Well, we expected a tight one, and that's just what we've gotten, Fred, and the defensive work of both teams responsible for that so far.
And I think we've mentioned that when you get to this level or to this game, your defense has to be the thing that's carried to you. Anyone can score points. The ability to stop the other team from scoring is what makes champions. Both these teams are definitely of that caliber.
Glenn Howard talking to Richard Gaines, not sure what about, maybe that punt return.
I tell you, we have to just respect the job that Glenn Howard has done here. He has universal respect throughout the state of New Jersey, but it's just unfathomable to me that in the 1990s, they're going to lose maybe less than 5 games.
Gloucester County Junior missed tonight, 8 o'clock.
A legend in Paulsboro.
Yeah, sort of an unofficial coach, but a regular on Comcast and the old John Mondelli show.
And certainly does a tremendous job running the District 29 Wrestling Championships.
And the Paulsboro Sports Hall of Fame as well. He seems to be involved in everything. 3rd and 1 call coming up, ball at the 24-yard line. Red Raiders looking for a first down to sustain this drive. Straight ahead with the, oh, what a tackle. Gaines is smashed. Boy, some tremendous defensive play inside by both teams. That was just a great play. In on that tackle was Eric Lundahl. I mean, Gaines is level on this play.
You can watch again, short yardage, best back, straight ahead, bang.
That was Lundahl getting the first hit.
And I'm telling you, I'm impressed with that Gaines held on to the football.
Bad snap, picked up. Claiborne getting the kickoff. Takes a funny bounce. Brackett picks it up at the 40-yard line. Brackett in the open field breaks some tackles. Brackett still running. Great return by Brackett into Paulsboro territory at about the 39-yard line, and Glassboro in great field position.
Welcome to the Group 1 semifinals, Mr. Brackett. How about those abilities, those cuts and those moves by a man that is really a power runner.
Ball at the 38-yard line. First down and 10. Late stages of the first half. 4:09 to play. Paulsboro leading 6-0, but Glassboro in great shape here. Satilli wants to pass, shovels it off. Completed pass to Herring. That was one of those Brett Favre pitches, wasn't it?
I'll give Mr. Satilli a lot of credit for being innovative at the time, but it's a kind of give coaches gray hairs when you throw it underhand right ahead. The best thing about it is it can be a complete. The worst thing it can be is an interception.
Gain 2 in the play. 2nd down and 8. Ball at the 37. Brackett. Tough place to run up the middle of the Paulsboro defense.
Yeah, I like the comments that Al Malin said at the coach of Haddon Heights after he played Paulsboro. He says you hear so much about their big name showcase offensive players. He says their offense and defensive lines just eat you up.
3rd and 6.
Brackett got about a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 6. 3:05 to play first half.
40-yard line.
So another critical 3rd down call for the Bulldogs. Fires it. Not a good pass. Intended for Terrence Jackson. Incompleted.
I think we're going to see, Bob, I think Glassboro's going to go for this on 4th down. The punting game hasn't been super successful for them, and I think they'll take the chance of getting the first down.
With 2:45.
Even if they're unsuccessful, Paulsboro will take over on its own 35-yard line. So I think that would be a good call in this situation. 4th down. And 7. So they need a big play now. So Tilly calls a timeout. Critical point in this football game. Glassboro wants to make sure everything is right for this play.
And also might have been an interesting idea. They may have just sent up with a formation to see how Paulsboro was going to play it and call the timeout. Then they could get in the huddle and decide the play that they were going to run.
Bob Clary, one of the real unsung head coaches in South Jersey, in front of another guy that does a tremendous job very, very quietly. Now, there's a humble man who always deflects whatever praise that anybody wants to give him. He's a good guy. He and Howard, two of the real good guys.
Yeah, I really like Bob. Bob's the kind of guy that if his team plays very, very well, he gives all the credit to the team. If his team doesn't play well, he takes the blame. He takes the blame.
Yeah, he's a stand-up guy.
That's correct.
He said, well, we talking to him before the game, he said, well, here we are again. He said he had nightmares about that game last year that they lost 9-6. Played so well, had a chance to end the streak, had a chance to go on in the playoffs, but 9-6, you talk about a heartbreaking loss, Fred. That was a heartbreaking loss.
I can imagine, and I can also appreciate that when I ask Bob all the time, I said, what's the key to the game? And he always tells me the same, blocking and tackling.
4th and 7. Big call coming up for the Bulldogs. Kelly drops quickly. There's lots of time, but it breaks down. Callis will sack him. The sack by John Callis, a huge defensive play. Not only a great defensive play, but now it gives Paulsboro tremendous field position with 2:39 to go in the half. Big play by Callis.
Callis gets the glory, but the secondary of Paulsboro gets the credit. They blanketed every Glassboro receiver since until he had no one to throw to.
1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. Huge defensive play for the Red Raiders. Claiborne still in at quarterback. Plenty of time for Paulsboro to get another one before halftime. Claiborne to throw. Going deep. Green stretches out trying to catch it. Can't come up with it. Good coverage on the play by Julian Worley at 2nd down and 10.
And a real good timing play. It's just a straight go pattern down the field to Green. What you hope in this situation is that Glassboro's defense isn't set to go out and play defense yet after the turnover on 4th down. And if you can get that quick home run strike, 6 come in a hurry.
2nd and 10. Only use 6 seconds. 2:33 to play in the half. They put Gaines in the slot. Bennett the only back behind Claiborne. Claiborne to throw. Good protection. Can't find a receiver, and he'll get out in the same situation that just happened the other way. Great coverage downfield, Fred.
And that's our key right now. Paulsboro trying to go with the passing offense to move the ball. It puts so much pressure on your defensive backs. One day you can be a hero, and the next day you can be a zero. In that case, Glassboro rose to the occasion.
Tom Bell with the big defensive play, and he is a big one. He's 290 pounds. 3rd down and 13. The Raiders need a big play. They're all the way back to their 40-yard line. Claiborne to throw again. Green this one. Complete a pass to Green. Breaks a tackle. Green breaks another tackle. Green's going to go to the 30, to the 20. Hauled down from behind on a saving tackle by Justin Brown, but a great individual effort
At the Bulldogs 12-yard line.
by Green. Gets Paulsboro in position to score again. Just a great individual effort breaking tackles by Green.
And Bob, again, that was that little wide receiver screen coming back. We're going to get a chance to see it here. Paulsboro sent people in every direction to throw off the linebackers in the secondary, showing screens to both sides. And wide receiver Green comes real quick. The linemen are already downfield because the pass is thrown behind the line of scrimmage. And Green's able to just break it. Great job here by Justin Brown to catch him.
Yeah, great speed shown by Brown because it looked like Green was going to go.
Now, just for our viewers, they'll notice on that tape that there were linemen downfield. It's not a call on that because the pass is thrown behind the line of scrimmage. The wide receiver steps back, catches the ball behind the line, and it makes the play legal.
1st and 10, the ball at the 11-yard line. Minute 35 to go in the half. pass play. Sharper has thrown a touchdown pass for Paulsboro, and now Claiborne with a big pass to Green to get the Red Raiders in a position where they might score again before halftime.
First and 10 Raiders at the Bulldog 14-yard line. 1:35 to play.
Except that spot, it looks like it's at the 13-yard line, not the 11. They going back to play, fires it, looking for... Well, there's a big defensive play. Big defensive play by the Bulldogs' Terrence Patterson, because Gerard was there, the pass was there, he just knocked it out of his hands.
And a good call with Paulsboro. Gerard is 6'8" and is much, much taller than any other defensive back was there. The pass was right on the money. Great job by the defensive back.
Second down and 10 at the 13-yard line.
1:29 to play in the second quarter.
They're going to throw again, fires it, and that was not a good pass. Intercepted in the end zone. And the return by Julian Worley, and that was an ill-advised throw, Fred.
Yeah, they tried to come right back to the opposite side using Sherrod's 6'8" size. He just put the ball up for grabs, Claiborne did, and Glassboro read it perfectly. We have flags down too, Bob.
But it almost looks like Paulsboro has decided they can't run against this Glassboro team.
We're going to watch the replay on a chance in here. You can see Claiborne dropping straight back. Pass is just thrown up for grabs, and it's just jump and go. But back goes Worley to make the interception and come straight down the field.
During the return, clipping on the defense, half the distance, first down, White.
Bob, that is an interesting comment because the last 5 plays have been all passes by Paulsboro.
So the penalty sets Glassboro back to its own 5-yard line. Now they have to be careful here, Fred. 1:19. They've had a good first half, well within striking distance. They can't try anything too cute here. Keep it on the ground. Good, smart play.
Paulsboro's going to be using their timeouts to force at least that punt to come up.
Red Raiders call time. We have a 2nd and 11.
If they lose a yard on the play, it'll be 2nd down and 11. Still 1:09 to play in the half, but they still have 2 timeouts, so they can get in a position where they can force a punt. And the Glassboro punting game has not been stellar today, to say the least.
And Bob, we're also looking at the balls on the 5-yard line, which means that Pierce will have to kick out of the end zone.
We'll take time out from Paulsboro High School on the Valley and Bow scoreboard. 6-0 Red Raiders. Second and 11 for Glassboro from its own 4-yard line. Brackett with the pitch, trying to get to the outside. Brackett breaks tackles and dives for extra yardage. Good run by Gary Brackett, and that gets him out of a hole.
Uses up a little bit of time and also gives them a lot more field position. If they can get the first down here, I think you'll see Glassboro just run out the clock.
The advance to the 14-yard line will be 3rd down and about 2. Clock running 36 seconds. The ball is loose. Tilly, did he fall on it? Problem on the exchange, and Paulsboro will take timeout. Now they will force a Glassboro punt. So Glassboro unable to get the first down. 28 seconds to go in the half, and Paulsboro probably will rush everybody to try to block this one, Fred.
Yeah, absolutely. You really don't have anything to lose. Even if the punt gets off, you're going to get great field position. And we may see Mr. Reggie Lewis enter back into the picture before the end of the half.
Well, the way he's been kicking off, it looks like he has some distance to for a long-distance field goal today. Lost in the play of about 2. It'll be 4th down and 4.
Now, as smart as Glenn Howard is, he may outsmart us at this point. He may decide not to rush the kicker, set up a return, and try to set up Mr. Gaines here for a long-distance coast-to-coast return.
Pierce is the punter for Glassboro, and he's had an adventurous first half. A couple of high snaps, one resulting in a blocked punt. Another time he slipped and fell as he was punting the football. Wet field, rained all night, a lot of rain in this area. So Pierce back at about his own goal line to punt this one. Pretty good snap. Pierce gets it off. Okay punt. Gaines at the 40. Gaines. Nice return. They have a chance. 15 seconds to go, so Paulsboro with a chance for 2, maybe 3 plays.
But Bob, I think Bob Cleary got exactly what he wanted out of it. A good, safe punt, didn't give up a lot of return yardage. Paulsboro had a pretty neat move by jumping around and trying to set up a different way to block the kick.
Another 10 yards and they might think about a Lewis field goal, Fred.
Yes, I think so. There's nothing really to lose by the point. I think we're going to see some throwing again. I wonder, yes, we have Sharper back in the quarterback.
Sharper, who threw the touchdown pass for the game's only score, back in at quarterback. They need 10 or 15 to get Lewis in field goal range. Sharper to throw. Throws deep, and another ill-advised pass. That one could have been intercepted by Worley, who already has one. But he drops the ball. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Now only 10 seconds to go, so they have to get the yardage on this play. Call timeout and get Lewis in the game to try for 3, unless they can, of course, score on the play.
And Bob, as we mentioned, the ill-advised passes. Claiborne in the interception this year in the earlier one put too much air into the ball. On that one, Sharper put not enough air. He threw it on the line, which allowed the defender to get there.
Sharper fires it, completed, and out of bounds. Good, smart play. The pass to Green. I'm sure they're thinking about Green, or Reggie Lewis, and he is coming into the game now. So we're going to see a long-distance field goal tried by Reggie Lewis, the hero of last year's Paulsboro-Glassboro game, with that field goal with 7 seconds to go. Now, this is going to be a long one for Reggie. The spot is going to be at about the 27-yard line. So it's going to be about a 37-yard field goal attempt. Glassboro wants a timeout here, perhaps to play with Reggie's head a little bit.
And one thing I'm looking is the field seems to get a lot wetter as you got closer to the goal line. Now, where Reggie's going to be kicking the field goal, the ground looks pretty good. So maybe that would be a plus to be closer.
Oh, this is a big kick. I mean, this kick makes it, forces Glassboro to score twice.
From what we're seeing so far, Bob, yards are very, very tough to come by against Paulsboro. 1 touchdown is a good possibility. I don't know about 2.
So can history repeat itself? Can Reggie Lewis kick another field goal against Glassboro in a pivotal spot?
And give him the same amount of points, 9.
At a 37-yard field goal out of the hold of Green. Good snap, good hold, and no good. I don't know whether it was blocked or not. Worley was in there quickly. I don't know whether he got a hand on it or not. But it was not even close. And Glassboro with a good stop. 1 second to go in the half.
Bob, what can happen sometimes is when we get further away, the place kicker has a tendency that they think you have to kick the ball as hard as you can. That is what we might see, and you have a tendency to kick through the ball instead of what you should.
I don't know if Worley got a piece of it or not, but he was in there quickly. Might have tipped it.
Yeah, he might have, and that's a good possibility.
Last play of the first half coming up here, and Satelli will just kneel down. They don't want to try anything. That'll do it. End of the first half from Paulsboro High School in the NJSIAA playoffs. On the Valley and Bow scoreboard, Paulsboro 6 and Glassboro nothing. Another great game and a terrific rivalry. After the first half, Paulsboro 6, Glassboro nothing. So much at stake today. Paulsboro trying to move on to defend its Group 1 sectional championship. Glassboro trying not only to end that streak, but the streak as well. 59 in a row Paulsboro has won. First half statistics, -1 rushing yards for Glassboro. That gives a great indication of what that Paulsboro defense has been about. The total yards heavily in favor of Paulsboro, 123 to 30, about a 4-to-1 ratio, and each team with a turnover. So In that category, Paulsboro has dominated the football game, but they lead only 6-0. Fred Swartz along with Bob Shryock. Pierce kicking off. Paulsboro will have the first possession of the second half. Great kick by Pierce. James drops it, picks it up at about the 8-yard line, straight up the middle. Sees a little bit of a hole, and nice return to about the 32-yard line by Richard Gaines. Only touchdown of the first half. Great pass by Vernon Sharper, one of the alternate quarterbacks for the Red Raiders, to Marcus Scott. Extra point failed. That's where we stand at 6-0 Red Raiders.
And Bob, one of the crucial series as we go now for Paulsboro, they want to go right down the field, score, hit a 2-point conversion, make it 14-0, make Glassboro score at least twice. Glassboro, they want to stop Paulsboro, get the ball, see what their offense can do with it.
Sharper will begin the second half at quarterback for the Red Raiders. They hand off to Gaines, nothing doing.
Gaines on the carry. Tackle by number 76, Bell.
Tom Bell, 290-pounder, has had a big football game defensively for Glassboro today. Makes another good stop.
Halftime.
Oops. Go ahead, Fred.
Halftime, I was going to say, is a big time for adjustments. So we're going to see exactly what each team is going to do. Paulsboro wants to reinforce that they can run the football game.
Gaines lost the yard to the 31, second down and 11 for the Red Raiders. Sharper, no chance to the option pitch, and he is smothered for a loss. Tackle made by Justin Brown, and that Glassboro defense doing the job. Paulsboro knew they were going to have difficulty with this Bulldog defense, and that's what's happened.
Probably their most effective play in the first half was that option. They came right back to it. Glassboro just committed more people to the pitch back, and it kind of surprised Sharper.
So 2 running plays by Paulsboro to start the second half have resulted in a net 4-yard loss. It'll be 3rd down and 14. Sharper straight back to throw, fires it over the middle, completed, but well short of the first down. Brackett in on the tackle along with Sean Cleary. Nelson with the reception for the Red Raiders, but a good defensive stop by Glassboro. The Red Raiders will have to punt. And Sharper will punt to Brackett or Worley. They need a player in the game. Claiborne, the punter, is just coming into the game. Claiborne, not a good punt. Brackett with a questionable decision to pick that ball up, but he gets away with it. So Glassboro with its first possession of the second half. They'll start from their own 35-yard line, 34, and they have not been able to move the ball on the ground, though Sotilli has had limited success throwing the football.
And Bob, in 25 years of coaching, playing, and being involved in football, I never saw where the punter failed to show up for the punt team.
Yeah, that's rather unusual and very uncharacteristic of the Raiders. 1st and 10, they're at the 34-yard line. Brackett gets the pitch, trying to get to the outside of the corner, but
Brackett on the carry.
Hammered out of bounds. Couple of yards for Brackett.
Tackle number 19.
Richard Gaines in on the tackle for the Red Raiders.
Now, our viewers may have seen that Glassboro had a -1 yard in rushing, and they may say, how's that possible? Gary Brackett had some pretty decent runs in the first half. Well, anything for a sack is subtracted from rushing yardage. So Sotilli was sacked quite a few times by Paulsboro, and that's why the yards went down to -1.
Brackett had 17 of those yards in the first half, picks up 4 more here, 2nd down and 6. Sotilli goes deep, has a man open, but overshoots him by about 5 yards. Herring had beaten the defense, was open. Strong arm shown by Sotilli, but he throws it way over Herring's head.
Bob, Herring is the best receiver for Glassboro. He has 10 catches this year, 341 yards, and 6 touchdowns. And it's interesting when we talked to Glassboro's coaches when they were coming up, they said they really wanted to make the short game go in the second half. They come back and had a chance for 6 with the long ball.
10 receptions, 6 touchdowns. That's pretty good percentage. 3rd down and 6 for the Bulldogs. Brackett bowling ahead, and he is close to the first down. Might have it to about the 44-yard line. And they apparently will measure this one.
You ain't gonna get that, bitch! You're not gonna get that, bitch! Get to the running back!
Glassboro's going to pin its hopes on the running of Brackett, figuring that great players come up with great games in big games.
About a foot to go. An interesting decision here for Cleary. Fourth down and about a foot. That's the good news. The bad news is that they're at the 44-yard line, and the mistake here can put Paulsboro in great field position. So what do you do here, Coach?
Well, here's what I'm saying. This is the one the fans all say, go, 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 and then when you miss it, they want to fire you. But with their punting game, I think they're going.
They're going for it. So a critical call. The 8:52 mark of the third quarter. They just need about a foot. I think if I'm Cleary, I just have Satilli keep the football and dive forward. He ought to be able to get a foot, sure.
I would hope so.
Oh, movement on the left side, and the Raiders are drawn off sides, and that'll give Glassboro the first down.
How about that famous no play again?
Defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So the Bulldogs keep possession on a penalty, and they're at the 49-yard line.
I don't think Glassboro even had an intention of running a play.
Brooks. Doing big defensive play made by Warren Sharper.
For a loss. Bring up a second.
Again, a team that's as fast as Paulsboro is. It's hard to really get outside.
Sharper lost a yard. Second down and 11 for the Bulldogs. Glassboro is 7-1. Paulsboro 8-0. Glassboro with Clearview on Thanksgiving. And the Red Raiders with their traditional new rival on Thanksgiving, West Deptford.
And that I think is kind of interesting, Bob, because I don't think West Deptford has ever beaten Paulsboro.
Second and 11 ball at the 48-yard line. Brackett straight ahead.
Brackett.
Breaking tackles, fumbles. Butt manages to recover his own fumble. Good run by Brackett across midfield to about the 46. It'll be third down and about 5 for the Bulldogs.
Brackett may have been so surprised he was able to break through the defensive line that he relaxed for a second. That's when the ball gets stripped away.
Look at the 3rd and 6. Ball at the 47. Another key third down play for Glassboro High School. Brooks. He will not get the yardage. Richard Gaines with the first hit.
I was going to say, that's an interesting call, Bob, because they haven't really had that much success at that time with anybody beside Brackett.
Right. So we'll bring up the fourth down. Glassboro there with a great opportunity to pin Paulsboro with a good punt here. Pierce, it's been an adventure today. Punting is. Glassboro had one blocked in the first half. Best punt by far by Pierce. And again, Gaines having trouble picking up the ball. Fumbles and gets it on the 5. Tries to get to the outside. Hemmed in and goes down. Good coverage. Down making the tackle was Justin Brown. We'll take time out from Paulsboro High School. It's 6-0 Red Raiders. So the good punt by Pierce and the bobble by Gaines sets Paulsboro all the way back to its own 7-yard line. Dangerous position on the field here. They need a couple of first downs. Sharper still at quarterback. Pitch to Gaines. And Gaines, very little running room. Pierce in on the tackle, along with Cleary.
And once again, we can see that Glassboro, which didn't think they could control the line of scrimmage, thought they could basically neutralize the line of scrimmage, did a great job there. Gaines really had nowhere to go.
Pickup of 3, 2nd down and 7. 5:55 to play, 3rd quarter. And Paulsboro knows it's in a football game. No question about that. Batted away and almost intercepted by big number 76, Tom Bell, who's been a force inside today for Glassboro. Another dangerous play. It'll be 3rd down and about 7.
Bob, we say it's a game of inches. That was an inch away from an interception. Glassboro's playing man-to-man coverage. Sharper with a just quick drop, and you can see it's batted right down and wow, almost into the hands of Tom Bell.
Justin Brown there and Bell, one of them looked like tipped it. Bell almost intercepted it. 3rd down and 7 for the Red Raiders. Sharper to throw. Sharper, coverage breaks down, breaks one tackle. Sharper slips and falls, and if he'd been able to stand on his feet, he could have gotten some big yardage, but now Paulsboro will be forced to punt from deep in its own territory, and Glassboro should emerge from this with good field position. This game getting very, very interesting, Fred.
Yeah, and where I'm looking is we're seeing things that Paulsboro usually doesn't have happen to them, and Glassboro's gaining some emotion by the fact that they're hanging in there tough.
Latham punting from his own end zone. Good snap. Gets it off, not a bad punt. Not a great one either. Glassboro will have terrific field position at the 27-yard line. Big opportunity for the Bulldogs on the exchange of punts. Gets great field position at the 27-yard line of Paulsboro. Now that Red Raider defense is going to be tested again.
But just looking at the sidelines, Bob, you can see the emotion that's in Bob Cleary and his coaches and players. If they can get in the end zone here, tie or take the lead, anything's possible.
First and 10 at the 27-yard line. And the snap is fumbled by Sattelli. Lose a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 11. See the ball wet. It did rain all night. The field is a little bit slippery in spots. Pretty much drained pretty well in most areas, but they are in a very wet part of the field right now, Fred.
Yeah, I really think, though, on that one, Sattelli pulled out a little too soon to try to get back up for a pass play and just missed connections with the center.
2nd down and 11. Brackett, halfback, pitch, and Herring catches it for the touchdown! A halfback pass from Gary Brackett to Steve Herring. Herring with the touchdown catch at the 4:04 mark of the 3rd quarter. And guess what? Glassboro has tied Paulsboro 6-6. That is the 7th touchdown reception of the season for Herring on only 13 catches.
Just incredible. Paulsboro fell into the trap of watching Mr. Brackett, figuring he was taking it off around the end. He pulled up, through. Herring makes a great catch. 6-6.
And now the extra point. Paulsboro missed its extra point. Now Glassboro wants time out to talk about that. This is a critical extra point. So Glassboro tested Paulsboro to the limit a year ago. They're doing it again.
Watch the replay here. We can see that Glassboro's been successful on the pitch outside, but Brackett sets up perfectly, releases the ball, and watch the catch by Herring, wide open, and knows where the end zone is.
It's a well-disguised play too, Fred.
Yeah, really. Sometimes those gimmick plays are the plays you have to use against good teams. Now, how about this? Glassboro going for the conversion, burns a timeout. Will that come back later to haunt them, or will this be the most crucial play of the game?
Now, this might be the most crucial extra point of Bob Cleary's career. I think he wants to make sure he gets it right. 6-6. 2 touchdown passes. Sharper to Scott for Paulsboro. In the first half, Paulsboro missing the extra point. Now, Brackett and a halfback pass to Herring. make it 6-6. 28-yard TD reception by Herring. And Glassboro will try for the 2-point conversion. This is a big one. All the Paulsboro fans standing. Sotelli has hit as it releases. It'll be incomplete. So we're tied at 6. Now we're going to start thinking about that NJSIAA overtime situation, Fred, because we could have one today.
And that would be interesting, too. The ball's placed on the 25-yard line, and you have a whatever it takes, as long as you continue to get first downs to score. The other team gets an opportunity. Now, normally when we play, you get 3 opportunities, and that's the game. But today, we have to have a winner. We might be playing them all.
You know, it was 6-6 a year ago, Fred, before Reggie Lewis kicked that field goal. We're 6-6 again. We're late into the third quarter.
But there's another factor we may also think in as we can see the Paulsboro crowd up and cheering. They've been kind of dead for the whole first 3 quarters of this game, and maybe that touchdown is what's going to give them the momentum to play back as the team that they are.
Well, fans on both sides into the game now. It seemed like a real dead game for a while, but boy, everybody's very much into it now. Glassboro for the second year in a row, giving Paulsboro every bit it can handle. Here's kicking off to either Green or Gaines. So the Glassboro defense set up that touchdown. Brackett, who does everything for Glassboro, throws a touchdown pass. And Herring, who seems to only catch passes for touchdowns, catches another one. Good kick by Pierce. Gaines backs up to about the 7. Gaines straight up the field, and pretty good coverage by the Bulldogs.
First and 10 Raiders.
Now let's see how Paulsboro can respond. They always seem to find a way, Fred.
Yeah, that's for sure, because we were talking before in that streak of 59 that there's been an average difference in points of almost 25 points in a game. But Paulsboro's always found a way when it got behind or got even to show their class and take the lead.
First and 10 Paulsboro from its own 31-yard line. They have not moved the ball well on the ground today. Gaines straight up the middle, and he's going nowhere.
Richard James.
And another tackle by Tom Bell, playing the game of his life. 290-pound senior. You don't hear much about him, but he has been in on a bunch of tackles today.
Yeah, Brackett usually gets most of the credit when we talk about Glassboro's defense, but you can almost just see the emotion that's out there. But emotion is fleeting. It can go down very quickly, especially if there's a long pass.
Only got a yard, second down and 9. Gaines again and again. Not much doing, a couple of yards. First hit made by Pierce. Will bring up a third down and long for the Red Raiders. And got to give this Glassboro defense some credit, Fred. They're playing a terrific game.
A lot of heart, a lot of determination, a lot of emotion. What makes high school football so exciting, because you can never really handicap it.
Third down and 7 for the Red Raiders. On the revolving quarterback door for Paulsboro, Claiborne is back in. Back to pass. Gets a big rush, and he'll be decked for a sack by Justin Brown, his 8th sack of the season. And the Glassboro defense again comes up big and will force another Paulsboro punt. And the momentum for Swartz, all with Glassboro right now.
Yes, that's for sure. And that's why Glassboro's got to make sure now when they do everything right, get the punt return, that they just stay with their offense, do the things that they're doing well, because they have Paulsboro reeling for the moment.
Claiborne to punt. Big sack by Justin Brown. He is the sack master of the Glassboro team. 8 on the season. Claiborne. No return on this one. Brackett looked like he wanted to go for it, but they rolled that at about the 48. So good field position again for the Bulldogs at the 48-yard line. First down and 10 with 1:57 to play in the third, and very reminiscent of their meeting a year ago when it was 6-6 till 7 seconds remained and Reggie Lewis kicked the field goal. Could we be in for another finish like that?
No, it's certainly a possibility, and I think the key word now is going to be shown is character. Character for both teams. Glassboro's playing with tremendous emotion. Paulsboro's going to show them character right now.
Brooks and Brackett. Brooks with the carry. Brooks going nowhere. pulled down. Reggie Lewis has had a load of tackles today, gets another one. Loss on the play of about a yard, 2nd and 11.
One thing's for sure, Bob, that touchdown has picked up the intensity of everyone, the crowd, and all of us here, because now suddenly this becomes a shootout.
2nd down and 11 for the Bulldogs. Kelly to throw, and he will be sacked. The tackle made by Vaughn Claiborne. With both defenses coming up big.
And Glassboro, kind of an interesting play that they only sent out one receiver. And they sent down number 25, Yidam, straight down the field and hoped they could get the football to him. And Paulsboro covered it very, very well.
Potential bad news for Paulsboro and a couple of French. Reggie Lewis is down hurt. He has played a tremendous defensive game for the Red Raiders today. And, of course, you've got to keep thinking about him a possible late field goal again. But he is injured.
Well, they certainly hope for the best in here. And usually, in this case, where it looks like they're working, it could possibly just be a cramp that they're trying to get out of his calf so he can play. We certainly hope that's all it is.
6-6. Postgame scoring in the first half. Sharper to stop.
Big hand for number 95.
Brackett to Herring for the equalizer here in the third quarter. Lewis appears to be okay. He'll come off for a play. And a 3rd down and 16 for the Bulldogs. And Paulsboro needs a stop. Paulsboro fans trying to get their defense revved up. Kelly again fumbles the snap. That's happened 3 times so far. Quickly covered by Kalmus, and the Bulldogs will have to punt.
Unfortunate situation for Tilly. He's had such a great year, but sometimes when that emotion really gets going, you start to do things faster and actually take place, and that may have been the case, but we still got a whole quarter to go.
So Pierce will punt the football. Gains back at about the 30-yard line. Another high snap. Oh, Pierce is going to have to run the football. And he throws it away. That'll be penalty flags will be down all over the place. Fred Swartz, the snaps from center are really hurting Glassboro on these punts.
And that's something you work at all the time, but that's the second one we've seen that's been very high. I think Pierce did a great job even to catch the snap. He then realized it was going to be blocked. He tried to do what he thought was just shovel the ball, make it an incomplete pass.
Reminiscent of Garrow, your premium. Remember that, Fred?
I sure do. And that was a field goal or whatever at the time. And unfortunately, it was caught by a lineman. When it's caught by a lineman, we're going to have a penalty now for illegal touch.
On the offense, and then we had a dead ball, unsportsmanlike, on the receiving team.
Wow. We're going to get a chance to see this again. Pierce, who has to go way up in the air for the snap, realizes it's going to be blocked. Takes off. Now he realizes it's going to be tackled. Just shovels the ball out. And there it's caught, which is the first foul. I wonder where the second foul is. Must be a late hit right there.
Jerry Stranix was the number 62 who caught the pass from Pierce.
But if bad things happen to Glassboro today, Bob Cleary is going to have his center and long snapper, I guess we have, working a few long hours, because that's been a big, big part of the game.
Against the kicking team has declined. The dead ball, unsportsmanlike, is accepted 15 yards from that spot. First down, red.
Now, there's a penalty that really hurts Paulsboro, but without that penalty, they are deep in Glassboro territory. Now they're all the way back to their own 47-yard line. So that is not a penalty Glenn Howard is going to be happy about.
That's for sure. And for everybody watching, the reason Paulsboro declined that penalty for the illegal touch is they get the football. And that's why otherwise there would be a penalty and we would be kicking again.
Could be the final play of the third quarter. Just 4 seconds to go. Claiborne at quarterback. Straight ahead to Bennett, but the ball is loose, and I believe Glassboro might have come up with it.
But it looks like I think they're going to blow the play dead on the ground.
They did. They blew it dead. So the Red Raiders keep possession on the couple-yard run by Bennett. That's the end of the third quarter. Stay tuned. We got a great one going on the Valley and Bow scoreboard. Paulsboro 6, Glassboro 6. We'll be back. Well, 12 minutes left in this NJSIAA playoff game. Or are there? 6-6 tie, Paulsboro and Glassboro. Paulsboro at his own 49-yard line with a second down and 7. And Glassboro has played Paulsboro tough again today for the second year in a row. I mean, real tough. James with the pitch. Glassboro defense closing on. They are tough. That Glassboro defense has been tremendous today.
They've given every bit of effort that Bob Cleary's definitely wanted for them. They've made the right plays. But I'll tell you, if there's one interesting thing we've seen now so far, if someone's going to win the game, every touchdown, both touchdowns today have been scored down in the direction in which Paulsboro is now driving. We have not seen any touchdown at the scoreboard, and everything's been down towards the baseball field. Maybe that's a good thing for Paulsboro.
Ball right at midfield, third down and 6 for the Red Raiders. The option pitch to Gaines. Gaines sees a bit of a hole, but closing fast for the tackle. Brackett along with help on the play from Terrence Patterson. And looked like he was going to get the first down, Fred, but he stopped about a yard and a half short, and they're going to punt the football.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good move right now. There's still a lot of time left in the game, and let Glassboro be the one that makes the mistake, not Paulsboro.
Claiborne kicking to Worley. Out of field position right now. Better punt by Claiborne. Worley will let it go, and this will be a favorable, good bounce for the Red Raiders all the way down to the 2-yard line, and that's exactly what they wanted. So give the punter Claiborne some credit on that one. Not sure, Worley probably should have considered fair catching that ball, Fred.
Or at least catching the ball. The one thing you never wanted to do is to hit and go down towards the goal line. Usually put your receiver on the 10-yard line, say if it goes over your head, let it go. That should have been made.
Tough spot for Glassboro from their own 2-yard line. Now the Red Raiders want a defensive stop so they can reclaim field position. Quite a football game. 10:29 to play in regulation. 6-6 tie. We could be having an overtime game today. Nothing doing. Almas right there for the tackle on Brooks. Maybe a yard.
Bob, the danger now is the fact that if Glassboro can't move the ball out of harm's way and at least give themselves a position, Paulsboro's going to get tremendous field position.
And remember, the biggest problem Glassboro's had all day long is on those snaps and center on punts. Twice it's hurt them.
3-yard line.
Second down. Glassboro desperately needing a first down, some running room. Brackett cutting it back inside, and he'll go nowhere, and he may lose a yard. Well, they're close to their own goal line, down at about the 1-yard line, and they need a couple of yards so that Pierce is not backed up to the end line on this punt.
Surprised me, Bob, that Gary cut that back in towards the middle, because he was definitely 2 yards deep into the end zone, and he ran right back to where the linebackers were.
Clock running, 9:20 to play. Third down and 12.
Glassboro's going to have to throw the football here and risk that sack.
Tough spot for the Bulldogs. Nothing doing inside. This is going to be a challenge for Pierce, punting from almost out of the end zone. Brackett with the carry, about a yard. 4th down, the ball at the 2-yard line. And up here, if they ever needed a good snap from center, they need one now. Either way, Paulsboro should get excellent field position.
And a booming kick. That's the key. There's nothing that's going to happen bad to Paulsboro here. They're going to get good positive. They can even get points out of it. Glassboro's looking at negatives.
Paulsboro taking time out. I believe they have a missing player. Is it Claiborne again?
Yes.
Now this is something you do not see from Paulsboro football teams, Fred. They have to burn a timeout.
Right.
Now they had 10 players in for the play.
Each team now has used a timeout, so they'll only have 2 left in the game. But if you're sitting on the red and white side, you have to be really hopeful of what's going to happen here. Only good things can happen. A short punt, a bad snap, a dropped snap. You're going to get good field position.
Gaines is perched at his own 30-yard line. So a lot of pressure on Bob Pierce, and also a lot of pressure on the Glassboro snapper on this play, because he's had some problems today, no question about that. Pierce has had 1 block. On another one, another high snap, he had to run it. Did not make the yardage. Good snap. Pierce gets it off. Pretty good punt. Gaines at the 29. Gaines straight up the middle. Gaines breaking tackles, and great return by Gaines. Good second effort, and Paulsboro now in excellent field position at the 15-yard line. So a return of 12 tough yards by Gaines. And Paulsboro with a tremendous opportunity here.
Bob, very, very similar to the first touchdown that comes with Paulsboro. That was on the 16-yard line. This one's now on the 15-yard line. Last time Paulsboro went right to a slot formation and threw a pass for the touchdown. I think we're going to see Mr. Gaines here.
Paulsboro's had trouble with the Glassboro defense all day long. Now Sharper back in at quarterback. Sharper fires it, and incompleted pass. He had a man open. Bennett was the intended receiver, but not a good pass by Sharper. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Glenn Howard did a good job in that one. What they did was fake the run to Gaines, sent Bennett out of the backfield into the flat backside, rolled Sharper towards him, tried to hook up the connections. If it was there, it was going to be quite a pass. It's incomplete. It's 2nd and 10, and the emotion builds again.
8-12 with the clock stopped. Reggie Lewis on the sidelines, limping. Remember, he was hurt. Will they need his foot in this series? Straight ahead to Bennett, but only a couple of yards. Glassboro defense doesn't give much, Fred.
I'm telling you, every time that Glassboro's tried to go in that direction, they haven't been able to do anything except for maybe position the football for a field goal. But Bennett's such a tremendous athlete for a sophomore. Sooner or later, some good things are going to happen. 3rd down.
Got about 1.5 yards. 3rd down, we'll say 8 yards to go. Don't know if Lewis can kick. Looks like he's getting ready to put his kicking shoe on, but he's limping. 3rd and 8 call. Sharper straight back to throw, getting a big rush, and he'll go down. Sacked by Brackett. Gary Brackett with a huge defensive play. And that sack, Fred, will take them apparently out of field goal range.
I think that's a guarantee, but how many times have we said it? Big-time players make big-time plays in big games. Brackett on the blitz, straight through, making the tackle on Sharper.
Gary Brackett has come up big today, throwing the touchdown pass for Glassboro from halfback. Big sack here. 3rd down and about 18 for a 1st down for Paulsboro. And their offense here in the second half has been absolutely neutralized by Glassboro's defense.
Well, we're definitely going to see a pass here. There's no doubt about it.
Sharper to throw. Got a protection. Fires it. Green with the catch. Green into the open. Green to the 10, to the 5, and touchdown! Touchdown pass from Sharper to Nimian Green. And Paulsboro with 6:35 to play in regulation goes ahead 12-6. And how did Glassboro let that one happen on a 4th and 18?
And the same play that they had earlier in the game that went for big yards. The flanker screen in which the flanker comes down inside and the lineman can already go downfield because the ball's thrown behind the line of scrimmage. There was one missed tackle, and that's all Green needed to get into the end zone.
There was an injured Paulsboro player down at about the 10-yard line. The touchdown pass, Sharper's second of the game. This one to Green, the first one to Scott. And Paulsboro back in the lead, and it looked like the way the Glassboro defense was playing, no way this could happen.
Green lines up on the left side. You can see this, the screen behind the line. The linemen are already downfield. He breaks the tackle right here. And now suddenly there's nobody in sight for Glassboro, and Green's going to get right to the end zone.
He made a great move.
A big hand for number 58, Paulsboro.
Touchdown. Ron Claiborne, the injured Paulsboro player, walking off the field under his own power. 12-6.
Bob, we may have just seen the play that continued the streak to a new number of 60. That was a great, great play by Damian Green.
Red Raiders will go for a two-point conversion. I mean, it looked hopeless for them at 4th and 18, the way Glassboro was ganging up on them defensively.
This becomes crucial, too.
Sharper fires it. Dropped by Bennett. That was there. That was a pass that should have been caught by Troy Bennett. Drops the football, so the score will stand at 12-6, and that could be a big miss by the Red Raiders.
You could see it in the face of Coach Glenn Howard as he shook his head going back. Great call. Both receivers were wide open. Bennett was the one who was being thrown the ball, and it bounces out of his hands.
Bennett only a sophomore. What a terrific career he's had already, and what a great player he's going to be the next couple of years here at Paulsboro High School.
And Bob, an outstanding athlete. He wins the Wrestling District 29 Championships as a freshman over Sean Hendricks of Deptford, who was an outstanding wrestler. The future is very, very bright for Mr. Bennett.
So the Red Raiders back on top, 12-6. The winner of this one plays the winner of the Woodbury Point Pleasant Beach game in the sectional Group 1 final 2 weeks from today. Paulsboro expected as the host to beat Point Pleasant Beach. And of course, a lot of people would love to see a Paulsboro-Woodbury rematch, but I don't think Glassboro is one of them.
No, I'm definitely going to say Woodbury is definitely considered the team that could definitely end Paulsboro's streak, but Glassboro came to mind where they were going to be the team today, and it's still not over yet.
Glassboro has played so tough defensively today, but 2 pass plays have hurt them. All 3 touchdowns today on passes. Long way to go, 6:35. Sharper kicking off. Kick by Sharper. Worley backing up at about the 7-yard line. Looking for some running room. Doesn't get a whole lot. Big hit on the special teams by Ted Holloway. Also in on the play was Ryan Kelly.
Here's our good situation now. With just 6 minutes to go in the game, Glassboro has to mount themselves a drive because I don't think Paulsboro is going to make too many more mistakes. Glassboro is going to have to earn the football game right here with this drive.
They're at their own 21-yard line with a 1st down and 10. Officials timeout. Little equipment repair. Glassboro's had difficulty moving the ball on the ground as well, so they may have to go to the air. Kelly to throw, getting a big rush, fires it, completed. And a nice game. Brooks with the reception. Cooper with the tackle.
Bob, that's a weapon that Glassboro will have in their favor. Having a strong arm quarterback allows you to be able to move down the football field quickly. That's, if you had to run the ball on every play to get down, you might not be able to do it. So Tilly can do it if he keeps his poise.
Ball at the 30-yard line, pickup of 9 at 2nd down and 1 for the Bulldogs. Clock running, 5:50.
Let's go, D! Let's go, defense!
Straight ahead. Racket. If he got it, it was well earned because he took some pops.
He did some unusual body contortions, and right at the end he was sticking his arm out as far as he could to try to get that first down.
Officials will measure this one.
I really think you're right, Bob. I think the way that Glassboro can get down the field to score is going to have to be through the arm of Santilli. As Paulsboro gives up running yards very, very, very sparingly.
First down for Glassboro. 5:31 to play. Glassboro really cannot afford to give up possession, Fred, because if they do, Paulsboro would have an opportunity to run out the clock.
And with only 2 timeouts left, that also plays into the factor.
Herring, the ace wide receiver for the Bulldogs, split wide to the near side. And now Glassboro wants a timeout. All of a sudden, Terrence Jackson called that timeout for Glassboro. We'll take timeout from Paulsboro High. 12-6 Red Raiders. 5:12 to play. Glassboro with a first down from its own 31-yard line. Fred Swartz and Bob Shryock. NJSIAA Group 1 sectional semifinal game at Paulsboro High School, and it's been a good one. Drops, gets a big rush, and pass is incompleted, but that play was made by Ted Holloway in quickly on Santilli. Gave him no chance at all to get rid of the football.
Santilli's very lucky at the point that he was able to avoid the long sack, and he just dumped the ball up for grabs. Luckily, no one was in the area. Very, very important now for Glassboro. The situation, I think, is the fact that they're down to 1 timeout remaining. So if Paulsboro gets the ball, they're going to be very, very difficult to get the ball back from.
2nd and 10, ball at the 31-yard line. Better protection with Callis chasing him, and it's knocked down by Callis. Intentional grounding.
No, I think he's going to say that the arm was moving forward for the pass.
Okay. So it'll be 3rd down and 11. Callis in quickly on Santilli, who has had little time.
But there might be hope for the Glassboro coaches. That was a slow developing play, but the wide receiver, Herring at that time, was wide open on the play. It's just Santilli didn't have enough time to throw.
So a big 3rd down call. 4:59 to play. Glassboro cannot afford to give up the football, particularly as we indicated, with only 1 timeout left. So this may be the biggest play of the game right here for the Glassboro offense. Fires it and completed. Brooks somehow getting open in the middle. A clutch 3rd down pass from Santilli to Allie Brooks for first down into Paulsboro territory. Great job by Brooks of getting open.
Absolutely. Right back to the middle where the pattern was open the last time, but great job by Santilli because Paulsboro ran a blitz and coming in severely where the Paulsboro linebacker was ready to make the hit on Santilli.
1st and 10 at the Paulsboro 45-yard line. 4:41 to play. Santilli again. Almost picked off by Cooper. Ball kind of floated out there and gave Cooper an opportunity to come up. Almost picked it off. The intended receiver was Terrence Patterson. 2nd down and 10.
That's, Bob, one of those where the receiver looks open for a second, but it's a long distance throw back across your body that takes a lot of zip off the pass, and by the time it got out to the receiver, it was dangerous for an interception.
2nd and 10. Throw again, fires it, looking for Herring, and it's knocked away. A huge defensive play by Cooper. Herring was right there. Cooper makes a big play.
Yeah, Jared Cooper, all 5'4", 145 pounds, makes a big-time play because Herring was wide open.
3rd down and 10. by another critical third down play for Satelli. Last one he converted beautifully to Brooks. Fires it, completed. And he's close to the first down. A good job by Yitem.
25.
Bob, looks like they're going to mark it just short.
Close to a Bulldog first
It'll
down.
set up a crucial 4th and inches. He's going to give it to him.
First down for the Bulldogs. So back-to-back third down conversions for first downs by the Bulldogs, and they're at the 35-yard line. 4:13 to play.
We always wonder sometimes in good semifinals between good teams if you're going to have good games. We've certainly got an exciting one here.
Satelli has made some clutch throws today. He gets hammered just as he releases the ball again. Another big defensive play by Von Claiborne. Second down and 10.
And Paulsboro has a good point in that to it. Idea when Satelli got hit and threw the ball, it looked like it struck one of the down linemen for Glassboro.
Second and 10. 4 minutes, 8 seconds to play in regulation. If they're tied, we go to overtime.
All you got, baby!
Every down. Fires it, completed, missed tackle. Brooks in the open. Brooks all the way down to another first down at about the 17-yard line. Good job in the open field by Allie Brooks, and another clutch pass by Satelli.
Yeah, he made a great move to force Jared Claiborne to miss him and gave him the first down. Also, the best part of the field today is down in this end zone, so footing should be good for both teams.
The clock running, 3:45, 3:44, first and 10, ball at the 18-yard line. Satelli, they run a draw with Brackett. Brackett breaks tackles. Brackett still on his feet, battling for extra yards. Great run by Gary Brackett.
I'll tell you, Bob, that might have been the most exciting short run. Well, actually not short run. It's going to be a 9-yard run in crucial situations. He kept breaking tackles. He didn't want to be denied. We're going to get a chance to see this again. Watch the leg drive by Gary Brackett. Great call by Coach Cleary on the draw. Here he is, just taking the hit, bouncing off Bennett, keeping his legs moving. Determination, desire, and drive all in one play.
The definition of second effort. Second down and 1, ball at the 9. Satelli to throw. Fires it. Incompleted. It'll be third down and 1. A dangerous pass. Get away with it.
At the Red Raider 11-yard line.
Yeah, interesting call down there. I guess they figured usually when it's second and 1 and you want to go on a pass, you're going to try to throw for the touchdown. But I think they realized that. I bet number 32 gets the football right here.
Ball just inside the 10-yard line. Third down and about a yard. I got to give the ball to Gary Brackett.
Absolutely. Best back, best play for the first down.
Clock running, 2:55. Brackett has some room on the outside. Brackett still on his feet. Brackett diving. Touchdown! Gary Brackett, a 9-yard touchdown run at 2:49, and we're tied at 12.
Incredible effort. Gary Brackett just would not be denied. When he got that toss, he was going to score even if it cost him his life to score. Now, Bob, extra point time.
And they're taking their final timeout to talk about it, Fred. Wow, this is something.
I'll tell you.
Brackett was getting up slowly. He has played maybe the game of his life. The stats may not show it.
You're going to get a chance to see this play again. Watch the determination of Gary Brackett. When he gets the toss, he saw the open. Now Brooks is outside to make contact. Great block downfield. Brackett just smells the end zone. Oh, great effort again.
Back-to-back memorable runs by Gary Brackett. We're tied at 12. There's only 2:49 to play. And now the most important extra point probably in Bob Cleary's coaching career.
And how about the character of Glassboro? They have not moved the ball consistently at all day. They get the ball on the 21-yard line, move straight down the field, and score. Tremendous, tremendous effort. How about this, too? The first time that Paulsboro could possibly go behind in how many years late in a game?
And not too often. Maybe the most important extra point of the 90s in Gloucester County right here. Everybody on their feet. Sattelli, the throw. Sattelli has it knocked down. Intercepted by Kalmus, but he can't return it. So the extra point denied. Nobody has made an extra point today. We're tied at 12, and now with 2:49 to play, overtime, a definite possibility.
Incredible. Now, it's interesting again, I think Glassboro figured at this point that Brackett had worked so hard that Paulsboro would be expecting them. What an outstanding display of character by Paulsboro to rise to the occasion to stop the extra point.
Oh, this has been some football game, Fred, and I give all the credit in the world to Glassboro football team.
Oh, absolutely, and I'll tell you what, it's rare when a real good football teams, two good football teams, play great football games, and we're going to see excitement. Well, we've seen excitement. We're going to see more in the next 2 minutes and 49 seconds.
The NJSIAA, of course, adopted a 25-yard line procedure for overtime. That's their way of determining a winner in case the game ends in a tie. That utilizes, Fred, the National Federation overtime procedure.
And I think the thing that's interesting in this game is that normal high school games, regular season games, there can only be 3 overtime periods or 3 chances to score. That's all out the window today. We got to get a winner.
Paulsboro with another severe test from Glassboro, trying to keep the streak alive and move ahead in the playoffs. Tremendous plays by Gary Brackett today. He has had some kind of football game. Not a good kickoff by Pierce. Troy Bennett will take it. Bennett breaks tackles. Bennett down the right side. Bennett still on his feet, battling for yardage. A tremendous return by Troy Bennett, the sophomore, on a short kickoff. We'll take timeout from Paulsboro High School. 12-12, don't go away. Gaines with a short run for Paulsboro, tackled by Brackett. It'll be second down for the Red Raiders, 2:35 to play. The spot at the 37-yard line of Glassboro.
I'll tell you, Bob, if we're watching something, watch that flanker screen coming back again. One of these plays, we're going to see it. That's been their most successful play.
Sharper with the handoff to Gaines. Gaines, no running room, will cut it back inside. He'll go down, and guess who was the first to hit him? Gary Brackett. Gets a game ball. I don't care what happens. He gets a game ball.
He's going to get a ride. I carry him on my back the way he's played today.
I got a bag of game balls.
Yeah.
Clock running, 2:15 to play. Third down and 9. And this Glassboro defense, to save a couple of touchdown passes, has been so tough all day long. Raiders need a big play. Under 2 minutes. Sharper fires it, and it'll come up short. The intended receiver was Scott. Well covered by Glassboro. Bring up a 4th down and 9 for the Red Raiders with 1:47 to play.
And you definitely punt the ball in here, because now with still having 2 timeouts remaining, if you can get another kick like we had before that can roll down to the 2-yard line, you're going to get field position for at least a shot at a field goal.
I think it's a good call by Glenn Howard. Claiborne will punt deep. For Glassboro will be Julian Worley.
Hope he learned a good lesson from last time and fields the punt.
Claiborne gets a big rush, gets it off. Worley watches it, and this one will roll into the end zone, so the Bulldogs get a break there. It'll come out to the 20.
Mr. Worley was really, really lucky at that time, because it was almost a situation he didn't seem to know what he wanted to do, whether to catch it or not. He decided to take a chance and let it roll, and this time it went the extra 2 yards.
Now, what do you do if you're Bob Cleary? Do you just keep the ball on the ground and try to get into overtime, or do you keep throwing the football? 1:38 to go.
Yeah, that's a tough situation, but I think I'd let Mr. Brackett decide this one.
1:38. Glassboro with only 1 timeout left in regulation. Paulsboro with 2. I'll keep it on the ground. Why not give it to Brackett? Brackett still on his feet, battling for yardage.
Tackle number 88, Solomon Shear.
Shear with the tackle for Paulsboro, but a nice run by Brackett for could be first down yardage. Close.
I'll tell you, Bob, I don't get a vote for the all-South Jersey teams, but I'll tell you what, if there's anybody better than Gary Brackett for heart and desire and character, I don't know where he plays.
First down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Minute 30 to go. Movement on the right side by Glassboro. That'll cost the Bulldogs 5 yards.
Red ball, full start, offense, 5 yards, still first down.
First and 10 from the 50, or the 25-yard line. Minute 28 left.
We're definitely going to see Paulsboro take a timeout after this play and take a timeout after the next play. So there is a possibility we could have a fourth down play where Glassboro has to punt again.
Run a draw. Brooks pulled down. Thomas with a big play. They want the timeout, and they get it with 1:20 to go.
Now, if you're Paulsboro in this situation, you're going to definitely take a timeout after the next play. That will be your final timeout. That will force a fourth down situation. Now, you're not going to have much time when you get the ball, but maybe a couple quick passes, and we might have another one of those 7-second field goals.
Ball at the 23-yard line, minute 20 to go. Second down and 17 for the Bulldogs. It's just been a terrific high school football game. Nobody gave Glassboro much of a chance to win, Fred. We saw Glassboro play Williamstown earlier this year, and I saw the Paulsboro game last year. And I really didn't think this Glassboro team was quite as good as last year's team, but I tell you what, they have played a terrific football game, great game plan.
I think Bob would clearly be the first one to tell you that. I think the talent level last year was much higher than the talent level this year, but when you play with heart, you play with everything that you have within your body, great things can happen to you, and I think that's what we've seen today.
Second and 17. No question, will they throw the football? Does that play into Paulsboro's hands? So just keep it on the ground, run out the clock. So Kelly back to throw, getting a big rush, fires it down the middle. It is picked off by Claiborne! Claiborne down the sideline. Then he goes out of bounds. This is going to give Paulsboro a shot. What a way to go, Fred. I don't get that.
Yeah, I know different people have different ideas for what they want to do, but I think I'd rather have it decided in overtime.
Are we going to see Reggie Lewis again?
Well, definitely at 107. I don't think we're going to see much out of Paulsboro except nothing dangerous out of it. I think they're going to keep the ball and figure they're going to decide to win it themselves.
Ball at the 20-yard line. First down and 10. A minute 7 to play. Big interception by Claiborne, who's back in at quarterback. Straight ahead. Bennett breaks the tackle. Bennett to the outside, heading for the end zone. Touchdown! Troy Bennett, with 1 minute to go, scores, and Paulsboro up 18-12. The same Troy Bennett who beat Woodbury with a late interception earlier this season to keep the streak alive. And it's 18-12 for the Red Raiders.
And Bob, the mystique just follows. When you've won 59 in a row, all of a sudden good things happen to you, or good plays happen to you. The interception comes, and Bennett just makes a fabulous run.
1 minute to play. 18-12. This has been a memorable high school game, Fred.
Absolutely. Character being shown tremendous by the Paulsboro Red Raiders right there, refusing to say die, refusing to realize that they could be going into overtime.
Nobody has made a conversion today. Paulsboro trying for another two-pointer here.
Flag on the play.
Delay coming up.
Delay of game, oh my.
Dead ball, delay game, offense.
So this changes the play.
5-yard penalty, try for point.
Bob, 2 years in a row. Last year it was a fumble with just about a minute to go left in the game. We're going to get a chance in here to see the turnover here. You can see Satilli releases the ball just before he's going to get hit, and watch Claiborne pick the ball off and know exactly what he has to do with the ball once he's got it.
And he makes a real good return.
Yeah, he really does.
Real good return. And you know, Reggie Lewis was right in on Satilli. 2-point conversion try. Lofted. Good. Great pass from Claiborne. Shryock for the 2-point conversion, and it's 20-12. And now Glassboro with a daunting task. They got to score a touchdown and the 2-point conversion in this last minute to force an overtime.
And Bob, the first time you could see a little frustration in Glassboro. Some of their players just hanging their heads down and even a helmet being thrown. But they have to realize how great they've played today and the fact that there's still time left on the clock.
Fred, you've coached, and you know you can only credit both of these teams, both of these coaching staffs. But I got to say that there's going to be some second guessing for the decision by Glassboro to throw the football in that situation where it seemed like they had a good chance to get it into overtime.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's true. And Bob may have been thinking at the time that, gee, I don't want to put it down to a punt on 4th down. We haven't had too much success, and that's really what it was going to come down to. If we get a 1st down, then we don't have to worry about it. But there'll be a lot of talk, I'm sure.
Football week has been changed to Saturday, November 29th, at Tulsa High School kickoff at 2:30.
So Troy Bennett had that big interception late against Woodbury that preserved this streak earlier this season. Now Bennett with another late touchdown, this one from scrimmage, to give Paulsboro the lead. They lead 20-12 with a minute to go. Smart kickoff taken by Brooks at about the 10. Brooks down the left sideline. Nice return by Brooks.
And a smart move to get out of bounds, even though the clock would have stopped at that time. But now Glassboro's got to go the distance with no timeouts, Bob. They have no timeouts remaining at all.
Not an easy task for the Bulldogs, but they have played so well today, Fred. I mean, a great game plan by Bob Clary and his staff. Herb Nealio, defensive coordinator, does such a terrific job with this defensive team. The Bulldogs have played tough. You look at the scoreboard, 20 points. That does not tell you how this Glassboro defense has played.
And that's for sure. They've really done well.
Satilli's going to have to throw in every down. He fires it over the middle, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Gaines, and that ought to do it. Gaines returns it to about the 31-yard line. Gaines with an interception, so back-to-back interceptions, and that ought to clinch it for the Red Raiders.
And Bob, if we got a chance to see that, Satilli gunned the ball right into the hands of Terrence Jackson. And Jackson, who had the ball for a minute, had it knocked right out of him, right into the hands of Gaines. With no more timeouts remaining.
All they got to do is kneel down. All they have to do is kneel down. Another heartbreaking loss for Glassboro against Paulsboro.
Absolutely, and the coaches just came down from upstairs, and the respect that each of them shown for the game that's been played today was just great to see.
So the Raiders' streak will continue at 60, but hard-earned to say the least. Glassboro has played this team real tough all day long.
60 straight is incredible, but Glassboro's going to look back and say, boy, 2 of those 60 wins came down real hard way.
And assuming Woodbury wins today, Fred, the rematch that everybody's been looking forward to as well, Paulsboro-Woodbury, 2 weeks from today, right here. And I think that in Point Pleasant Beach probably upset them. I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but I'll tell you what, this game goes a long way to really helping Paulsboro, too.
The streak continues. Paulsboro 20, Glassboro 12. Wasn't easy, but the Red Raiders move on to the final of the South Jersey Group 1 Championship Tournament. We'll come back with our Bank of Gloucester County post-game show right after this.
This time we'd like to thank the cheerleaders and the band.
The postgame show brought to you by the Bank of Gloucester County. Bob Shryock along with Troy Bennett, one of the stars of the game for Paulsboro High School, as the streak continues. 60 now, and the Red Raiders back in the Group 1 playoffs final again this year. And Troy, a guy who's in the right place at the right time a couple of times this year. First, the Woodbury game, the big interception, the touchdown that gave you the win over the Thundering Herd, and today, no bigger touchdown in your career than this one, Troy.
Yeah, Coach, we was going over a couple new plays, and that was like the first time we ever ran that play, and I got the touchdown.
Is this something you worked on in practice this week, this particular play?
Yeah, we worked on it a couple times, and we just brought it out just now.
These guys played you tough. They played you tough last year. They played you tough again this year, probably as tough as anybody during this incredible streak. So this has become a great playoff series.
Yeah, their defense is good and their offense is good. And our defense and offense is good. Just came down to that one play, and we went in for a touchdown.
In the streak, 60 games, Troy, and you've been involved in them for 2 years now. Do you guys have a feeling now that you're going to win a football game, even a tough one like this, that you're going to find a way?
I hope everybody thinks that way, that we're going to win the football game. And like if we lose, as long as we gave 100%, the whole team, we'd be all right. As long as we give 100%, we hopefully can come up with the big win.
Because you guys are hoping Woodbury wins today so you can have that rematch, right?
I guess. I don't really care who wins. Just play whoever wins.
Thanks, Troy. Great game.
Thanks.
Okay, let's get Gary Brackett in here. Gary Brackett, a terrific career and just a great game today, Gary, but in a losing cause. I know this has to be probably as heartbreaking a loss for you as any you've played in, and you played in one last year here, too.
Yeah. It was a hard game to come back, for them to come back and lose after we drove down the field and scored with that much time left, but things happen.
You made a couple of big plays. Of course, you seem to be on every play defensively, but two big offensive plays today. The halfback pass. Have you run that one before?
Yeah, we ran it twice before. It never worked though because I threw it too short. But today we gave enough tosses and runs for them to come up and me to have a little extra room to throw it back there. Steve made a great catch.
Yeah, he made a good adjustment on the ball too. Yeah, you were dancing all over the place after that one. That was
I was excited. It was very exciting for us to score because I knew our team would come right back in it. We played hard.
When you got back to 12-12, you made a couple of big runs, huge runs. Fred Swartz said one of the best short runs he ever saw, that 9-yarder, to get you down to the 9-yard line. It looked like the Gary Brackett determination on those two runs.
Yeah, I just thought if I fight hard, I make it to the end zone, and I did.
The Paulsboro team seems to always find a way to win, though, Gary.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
They never give up. I thought we had them towards the end. I thought it was going to be overtime or something, but they didn't give up, and things happened, went their way. They won.
Well, you've had a great career, Gary. One more game to go, and congratulations on a terrific career and a great game today.
Thanks.
Okay, that's Gary Brackett from Glassboro High School, and a very gracious a guy in defeat, Fred, but I tell you what, Glassboro played him tough. They played him so good.
I'm sure, and when we look at the score at 20-12, they won't realize how well they played defensively, how much heart, how much emotion they played. They stayed in. They just never believed that they were going to lose, and I think both teams walk off the field today as winners.
Great teams seem to find a way to win. That's been Paulsboro's history. They find a way.
And it never seems to matter how much time's left. They always seem to say, we're going to win. If we have to invent a way to win, we're going to do it. They just never, ever gave up.
There have been 3 memorable close games in this streak of 60 in the last 2 years. One, of course, was last year, the Reggie Lewis field goal with 7 seconds ago. They win that one. The Woodbury game this year, Woodbury right in it till Bennett makes the interception and return for the touchdown. Now today, another interception by Claiborne, then the run by Bennett. They find a way.
And that's character, and I know Coach Glenn Howard and all his coaches teach that the fact that to beat Paulsboro, you have to play 48 minutes of football, and even if we're losing with 15 seconds to go, we'll always find a way to win. That's character, that's pride, and that's why they've won 60 straight.
Okay. We're going to get a chance to talk to Glenn Howard, but we're going to take this break. We'll be back with the post-game show right after this. Bob Shryock and Fred Swartz, along with Glenn Howard, the Paulsboro High School head coach with the Bank of Gloucester County post-game show. And Glenn, you said it while we were off the air, typical Paulsboro-Glassboro football game.
That's right. I mean, when these two teams get together, it's always a barn burner and good football between two good teams. And Glassboro came ready to play today, and they gave us everything we wanted. And, I just thank and praise God we were fortunate to pull it out there in the end.
2 years in a row they played you tough. They played you down to the end. Real credit to their program, Glenn, because, they're a football team that won't quit.
Yeah, their kids won't quit, and that's the thing I told our kids at the end of the game, that, we made some mistakes today, and mentally we were a little off jargon, but we played hard for 4 quarters, and that's Paulsboro football, and that's what I'm most proudest of. The guys played hard, and they played their hearts out for 4 quarters, and found a way to win at the end.
Kind of a battle of field position today.
Yeah, it was. Our field is not in good shape down this end especially, and you had to play field position a little bit there, when the game got pretty tight.
Tell us about the touchdown run. I understand that might have been a kind of a new play you put in.
Yeah, there was a new play we put in this week to take advantage of their linebackers flow so fast, the misdirection. We really didn't run it that much because they kept switching their defenses so much, but toward the end they kind of settled in the defense that we had worked at play against, and we had ran the counter play to it in the series before that. So we thought it was a good time, and kids executed it well. Troy broke a tackle and found the end zone.
Streak is at 60, Glenn, and this is a football team that seems to find ways to win. Most of those 60 wins have been very comfortable wins, but 3 tough ones that come in mind, the 2 with Glassboro, the 1 with Woodbury this year. You seem to find a way.
Yeah, I take my hats off to the kids, and like I said, I thank God the kids are healthy, and they just play hard every week, and they do a good job with the game plan, and the coaches work hard, and we're just on a roll right now. We've got good talent, and the kids do a great job.
Thanks, Glenn. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you for the finals. Okay, Glenn Howard, the head football coach at Paulsboro High School. Fred, that young man has become quite a coach, but we got to give some credit to Bob Cleary, the Glassboro staff. They coached a great football game.
Yeah, I got to talk to him right at the end of the game, and he was just heartbroken from the game. He gave everything he had in the effort. I think he did an outstanding coaching job. He's an excellent man and an excellent coach.
Okay, the final score again, Paulsboro 20, Glassboro 12. The streak continues at 60. For Fred Swartz, this is Bob Schrack. Thanks for watching.